Hello and welcome back to Cycle Every Day. In today's video we're going to be focusing on what some people describe as the best Brompton accessory and a must-have if you own a Brompton, which is the Brompton Tool Kit. So we'll be going through what you get for your money and how it fits into the Brompton and other alternatives that might be worth considering if you want to save some money. Now, having a toolkit of some description is important to have on any bike. You never know when you might need to take a wheel off or tighten up a bolt that is loose when you are out and about. It is almost as important as having a pump and puncture repair kit for a flat tyre. So, Brompton have designed a toolkit that fits into the frame without out of sight, which means there is no way you can forget it by accident. Basically, you put it away and forget about it, and it's always there if you need it. Now, because it has been designed for the Brompton, it does have the majority of tools you might need for any roadside repairs you might encounter. So, in the toolkit you have a range of different tools. The spanner is probably the one tool we have used most. This will fit the nuts on the wheels and chain tensioner. On the other side of the spanner is the ratchet, which will fit a range of different attachments in the toolkit, such as the hex keys and screwdrivers. The hex key sizes are 2, 2.5, 3, 4, 5 and 6. There is also a Phillips and flathead screwdriver attachment as well. Most breakdowns on a bike are due to a puncture, so the toolkit also has the 2 tyre levers, repair patches and sandpaper. The tyre levers also have a spanner attachment on both, which provides some additional options for smaller bolts such as the reflectors and brakes. So the toolkit is pretty substantial in terms of what you can do with it and in the event of any issues. However, the cost of the toolkit is £65. Now, although it is something that is important to have, you don't actually need to have this specific one, and the alternatives are a lot less expensive. Now, we've had our Brompton for well over 2 years now, and for the first 2 years we got by just fine without the Brompton toolkit. The only thing we carried on us was these 2 brake spanners, which cost £4, some tyre levers that cost £1.50, and a box of repair patches which cost £3.50, all of which fits very neatly into our first aid kit, which we keep in our saddle bag at all times. In fact, we still carry all of these with us even though we have the Brompton toolkit. The point being here that you can actually make your own emergency toolkit that works perfectly well for fixing the main problems on the roadside for less than £10. I know what you might be thinking though. In my made DIY toolkit I don't have the hex keys or screwdrivers. Well, that brings us on to the next point, is how often do you need all of these different tools? The only tool I have ever used in the Brompton toolkit over the past 7 months is the spanner. So I think this depends on how lucky or unlucky you are, and keeping your bike clean and maintained will help prevent breakdowns anyway. But based on my own experience riding the Brompton on average 200 kilometers each week on a daily basis over the past 7 months, I've had to use a Brompton toolkit just once. Yes, that's right, just once, when I had to adjust my chain tensioner on my 2-speed Brompton due to it breaking on the way home, which I will be covering in the next video. Again, I could have easily used my DIY toolkit for this. So, I have paid £65 for a toolkit I haven't really used. So I guess the big question that needs to be asked is it value for money? In all honesty, I could have easily fixed the issue with the chain tensioner using one of my generic spanners that I have. The generic spanners don't take up much room and work just as well as the toolkit itself. So I think that for me personally, it was one of those purchases that was nice to have rather than an essential. I have tools at home for general maintenance, so I don't really get much use out of the toolkit overall. So it is an expensive piece of kit for occasional use in my case. However, if you don't have bike tools at home, this toolkit would be really useful for general maintenance, such as adjusting the brakes, removing the wheels and so on. I guess based on this, if you look after your bike and don't have many breakdowns on the road, then the Brompton toolkit might be one of the things you might not really need, and might be better and certainly cheaper to keep a couple of spanners in your bag. In terms of appearance, the toolkit does win over on looks, and it is well designed with lots of tools for different situations. The fact it fits discreetly into the frame and is also a positive compared to other all-in-one bike tools you can buy. However, also bear in mind that the Brompton frame is not waterproof, so remember to take out the toolkit when you wash it. When water gets into the frame, you do get a bit of surface rust inside, which has marked my toolkit, so something to bear in mind. So, in summary, I thought I would have used the toolkit more than I have over the past 7 months, but it is nice to know that it is there just in case something happens. I don't regret buying one, but on reflection, I don't think I would buy one again based on the small amount of use I have had for it. It is without a doubt a very nice piece of kit to have, but also not essential if you have an alternative. As always, I would be really interested to know what your experiences are with the Brompton Toolkit. How often do you use it, and if you don't, what other tools do you carry with you and how? I hope that you found the video both interesting and useful. As always, thanks for watching, and we will catch you in the next one.